Hello, hello. Welcome to Dinner and Drama, the podcast where we dish out a hot serving of drama paired with the perfect meal. I'm Drew.
And I'm Kristin.
So tonight's drama is going to be quite interesting, particularly because I don't know what it is. Tonight is a surprise topic solely for me. So Kristin, what drama are we handling today?
We're going to call this a potluck because, you don't know what it's about. But I do think that you'll have input. No pun intended.
No pun intended. So I'm curious. So what is tonight's drama?
So let's dig into something I like to call an episode about foreign objects.
Foreign objects. It sounds like a good game, actually.
So tonight we're going to discuss people who have inserted foreign objects into various orifices of their body.
Any orifice? Or are we talking about particular orifices?
I mean, we're talking about like downstairs.
Downstairs orifices.
Yeah.
Basement orifices.
Basement orifices.
Hardwood floor or carpet or all of the above?
All of the above.
Okay, let's go.
So, I mean, foreign objects is not really that taboo of a topic. I mean, it was on Seinfeld. And what made me think of this topic was that there was an episode about Fusilli Jerry. So Kramer had made this little character of Jerry out of fusilli pasta. And of course, there's a lot of different things happening on Seinfeld. So Kramer goes to the DMV to pick up his new license plates, and he gets license plates that say the Ass Man or Ass Man. And they're not his plates. So they've given him the wrong plates, but he suspects that they belong to a proctologist. So there's a whole altercation over Kramer driving George's mother to the doctor, and he stops short, and she thinks that he's trying to grab her teats.
Okay.
So George's dad, Frank, is all upset with Kramer, and they get into a physical altercation, and Frank falls on Fusilli Jerry, and it goes up his butt.
It becomes a foreign object.
So then they go to the proctologist, and it's the owner of the Ass Man plates. The proper owner of the Ass Man plates. Yes, the proper owner. And I was thinking about this because the guy that just played the Ass Man just died a couple days ago. His name was Lou Coutel. The proctologist? The Ass Man, yeah. But of course, Kramer's driving all over the city with these license plates that say Ass Man, and people are heckling him and yelling at him. And someone's like, "Hey, Ass Man." And he's like, "The Ass Man's back in town."
The Ass Man's back in town. I don't know if have you ever visited a proctologist? I mean, I know for a fact I haven't actually. I don't know why I'm saying I don't know.
No, I mean, I've never had the opportunity to do so.
I mean, I know what they specialize in, but is it just that?
It's butt. I mean, it's
colonoscopy?
Buttholes, yeah. Well, but I mean, that would also be under the umbrella of
internal medicine? Gastroenterologist, okay.
Yeah.
So what would a proctologist do specifically? Maybe ruptured anuses?
Should we Google it?
I don't know. Not to do an aside. However, now that I know the topic a little bit, I'm not fully aware of the topic. I thought you were talking about my mother, foreign objects, or my father.
Or you,
but frankly. But this is fine. Have you ever seen, I don't know what TV, it must be on a TLC where they have those emergency room dramatic reenactments. It's a TV show that talks about ER stories, and inevitably every single episode there's at least one, if not two, relating to somebody who superglued their hands to their junk or had something inside of them.
Right, by accident, of course.
And then of course. And what's interesting about the ones that are always the people who have something inside of them is that they refuse to tell the doctor what's inside of them. And the doctor's I literally can't help you unless you tell me what's inside of you. And they're always I love the doctor reenactments because it's always believe me, you can tell me there's nothing that is in there that I haven't seen before. And then inevitably the person's always
inevitably it's something they've never seen before.
Oh, well, then. Wiffle bell? I don't know. So continue.
Proctologists must have the best stories, though. I mean, you got to sit next to them at parties if you ever know that someone
just
in the
like
room
sitting
is
at
a
the dinner table.
proctologist.
I know, but it's taboo. I know some people get like all like weirded out if you start talking about like poop or something. Like I don't particularly get weirded out by that kind of stuff. I don't care if we're eating dinner. I don't care if we're just sitting down for coffee. You could talk about ass and shit all day long. It doesn't really bother me, but
Yeah. I
would be entertained.
There also was a foreign object situation in Pulp Fiction, which was a pretty funny scene with Christopher Walken. Do you remember that?
Was he walking with it?
No, he plays this army captain who's back from Vietnam, and he goes to visit someone who's supposed to be Bruce Willis as a young boy. And Christopher Walken brings him a gold watch that he smuggled back from Vietnam in his rectum.
What? There's a name for that, right? It's when you go to prison and you like, doesn't it start with a K? I don't know. I know
I
Kegel
thought you were
exercises.
like setting me up for a joke.
I don't know. No, it wasn't setting up for a joke. It's like, I think it's called a K. I'm gonna have to Google that while we continue. And
so the Bruce Willis's father stores the watch in his rectum, and then he dies of dysentery, and then before he dies, he passes the watch off to Christopher Walken, who stores it in his rectum and brings it back from Vietnam to give to Bruce Willis.
It's clean if you put it in something.
Sure.
Okay, so this is why nobody should ever look at my Google search.
Oh my God. After this, yeah.
What I Googled was, what is it called when you smuggle something up your ass? And the first thing that comes up is booty bumping, sometimes called boofing, is a way to consume drugs, usually methamphetamine, heroin, or cocaine, by way of your butt. You may also hear it referred to as plugging, hooping, or UYB. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. Anyways, it is called keystring when you put something up your butt.
Oh, keystring. I thought you said keystring. I'm like, keystring?
It's called a butthole tool case because you store the tools of the trade in your butthole.
So going back to your Google search history, I find that I put, for research, I'll be like, strange objects inserted into rectum for research. Yeah, or
for
like
research purposes only.
How do you, get away with murder for research? That way, the cops can't pin anything on me because it's all just going to be.
Well, it's not even the cops. I'm oddly training this algorithm to like have the most odd responses, and then I question why Siri like replaces half my words with the most odd. She's going to start replacing things with booty bumping. Right. I'm going to type in Kegel exercises, and she's going to say, "I have recommendations for booty bumping if you want."
Are you trying? Do you mean
so? Booty bumping is drugs. And what was it 2 years ago that there was that whole like soak a tampon in alcohol thing and shove it up your butt? That was another thing. That would fall under what is the top hidden objects? No, that's that movie.
Foreign objects. I mean, the sad thing is that the tampon soaked in vodka is now like mainstream. Like kids do it.
Listen. It's weird, but don't you have a little curiosity of what it feels like, or like what it worked, like how it would feel, like not the insertion part. I'm talking about like the getting drunk off of that. I don't know.
No, because
Tony
what would
has
happen?
that weird. Tony has Kristen's husband, Tony. Sometimes I forget that we probably have.
Speaking of keister,
we have listeners who don't know who Tony is. Tony is a British man who is married to Kristen, but he has a bicycle air pump, like one of those pumps that you pump up air in the bicycle.
The device,
and then he has a soda bottle. He has a soda bottle, and you like fill the soda bottle with a little bit of alcohol, and you basically pump it full of air, and it gets it like atomizes the alcohol, and then you breathe it in, and it literally will get you drunk super, super quick. So it's not like we haven't experimented with different ways of drinking here,
right?
In the households of. In our households. So listen, I'm not saying I'm going to put a tampon in there. I'm just saying I'm curious to see the effects on someone else first, of course.
Right, of course.
I heard it really messes you up.
Who can we get to do that, though?
I think there's a lot of people that we know that are easily swayed.
I have some ideas.
All right. So outside of sticking tampons up your butt.
So I was sort of like looking around for some stories or some odd objects that people have inserted in themselves, and I have a list. There's one guy who ordered a blow up doll, and the doll came, and it wasn't a blow up doll; it was just like a regular Barbie. So he ripped the arm off and shoved it up his pee hole. I'm like,
The pupil?
Who are you punishing
Like-
in this scenario?
Like
Up his penis.
the whole thing or the arm?
Just the arm. Well, I mean, still, just the arm is still going to be incredibly painful.
I know.
think.
That sounds okay. So for a moment, I was grossed out, and then for a moment, I just visualized. I'm a sick person. For a moment, I visualized like this little hand sticking out outside of the penis. Like, could you like just handshake somebody? It's like that song from SNL, "The Dick in the Box." But like if you had the dick in the box, and then that dick had a hand coming out of it.
So what would you do if you well, let's have a scenario where you're single and you were, it could be either of us, honestly, getting busy with a gentleman, and he pulls down his pants and he has a Barbie doll hand sticking out of his penis.
You high five it and then you go, peace out,
Cub Scout.
I don't know this whole, again, all of our podcasts tend to go back to that sort of online dating with all those different groups or the dating groups. So no research here, but I'm now Googling, and again, Google's going to hate me.
It's going to love you.
So I don't know. It's weird whenever somebody talks about how big your anus is. I don't know why that comes up often. But they always talk about how many gerbils you can fit in your ass. Did you know that? There's like a thing. So I typed in how many gerbils can you fit in your asshole. And the first thing that came back was gerbiling, also known as gerbil stuffing or gerbil shooting, is a sexual practice of inserting small live animals, usually gerbils, but also can contain mice, hamsters, or rats, and various other rodents into the human rectum to obtain stimulation via scratching. Some variations of the report suggest that the rodent be covered in a psychoactive substance such as heroin prior to being inserted. And then once completed,
dusting.
Yes, but this is the important part, okay? The participant must apply constant pressure to prevent the rodent from digging or burrowing further in the anus. What? Why do you need this warning?
One of these stories that I came across was a gentleman who went to the ER, and he was literally blue in the face. And he, like you said, he would not say what the problem was. And they flipped him over, and there was a tail coming out of his butt. Tail. And it turns out that he had done this. He had put a live rat. He put a condom, put it in a condom to try to smother it before insertion. And the rat apparently ate through the condom and then ate a piece of his colon.
Was the rat still alive when they pulled it out?
Sadly, the rat died. The man lived and the rat died, which I think is kind of unfair.
Was the rat poisoned? Like gas poisoned? Was it a gassing?
Well, I think part of the problem is that
I feel bad for the rat.
Your sphincter has these muscles that want to suck stuff in, which seems odd because really the anus was designed to push things out. Right. Mm-hmm. So
I think of an anus like when you're stuffing a sausage casing, and that sort of is just like massaging everything down into the sausage.
Right.
But the end is like a guillotine, and it's like, and that's for when you're making the truffles. I don't know. What do you call your poop?
One guy put a shower head in his butt and went to the ER, and the hose was trailing behind him.
Which part of the shower head? Oh, I thought he would put
head part.
I thought he was trying to shoot something out of the shower head.
No.
Speaking of drama, speaking of drama with shower heads, I don't know why this reminded me of it, but I tell this story all the time now to new parents, and nobody ever believes me, and then I have to go down the depths and burrows of the internet to find it. Bowels of the internet, no pun intended. But if you are a parent, specifically of a young child, you are very familiar with Blippi. Kristin, are you familiar with Blippi?
I've only become familiar with Blippi because of your son.
My son. Okay. So Blippi is this man with orange suspenders, blue shirt, orange hat, and orange sneakers and jeans. This is his standard outfit. And Blippi, by the way, is a massive success at a $65 million net worth. So he ain't doing so shabby for himself. But prior to becoming Blippi, apparently, he was a filmmaker. And in one particular film, he, to the soundtrack of the Harlem Shake, he got on a toilet facing the wall, standing up, while his friend was laying down under the toilet, and he blew ass right on top of him. And when I'm talking about blowing ass, this is what I was talking about foreign objects. Like, I'm convinced he had something, like, first off, I'm convinced he took a diuretic. Second off, I'm convinced he stuffed his butt with something, because it came out with such velocity. I mean, it was literally like a, what is that artist? The Pollock, the one that does the splatters?
Yeah, Jackson Pollock.
Okay. It was like a Pollock painting. It was all over the place. Anyways, now he creates children programming. So we all can evolve in our life.
Yeah, for sure. My dog is in here, and he is like,
He knows the topic
stuck.
is foreign objects, and he was like, I have plenty of foreign objects. I mean, Maggie
Sure.
has eaten. You know all about it. This is the weird part. People don't want to ever talk about poop, and yet if you are an animal owner, or if you're a
Parent of a young child.
a parent of a young child. I mean, Clay stuck his hands down his pants and then took out a piece of shit today. I mean, we've been standing in front of the Christmas tree. Jimmy was videotaping him because he was being so cute in front of the Christmas tree, which he just put up today. And then all of a sudden he looks at us and he has got like brown stuff on his hand. And Jimmy was like, what is that? And I was like, it's shit. He picked a piece of shit out of his back asshole. And then Maggie ate like a diaper, a full out diaper the other day. And I had to go chasing around her and pull it piece by piece out because she was running around with dingleberries.
That's not her first diaper.
No, it's not her first diaper. It's a specialty. She literally finds it. She's
Marge
like,
has a fetish. Marge is
No.
Andrew's, or Drew, excuse me.
Our
Drew.
dogs have like fundamental problems, and then it's always like relating to like Maggie ate a diaper, or Riley thinks that the bottom of the stroller is a buffet because it's always got leftover food from Clay's walks when he's eating dinner. I don't know. So if you are a parent or if you are a dog owner, you are obviously not. You are not new to the foreign objects in rectum category. So, Kristin, outside of so we've covered gerbils in the rectum. We've covered a shower.
So a shower head. There's also someone who put a potato in their butt. I'm sorry, that was not in their butt. It was in their vagine. This one gentleman came into the ER with a flashlight up his butt. He apparently was going to the bathroom in the woods, and the limb that he was holding onto snapped, and he magically fell right onto that flashlight.
Listen, I knew
he had a history of falling on foreign objects.
I knew a few females in college who fell on things. That's just happened.
One guy built a butt plug out of Legos and some duct tape.
But that would be concerning, because what if the piece of Lego got dislodged? They're not exactly the most secure things.
No, they're not. Especially if they've been, used. You know how when you get Lego, they're like super tight, and then like over time they kind of loosen up.
Wait, are we talking about Legos, or are we talking about you?
I was like,
we talking about Legos, or are we talking about you? What's going on here?
Sounds weird. Another guy shoved a bloody cucumber up his butt and then tried to remove it with a knife.
A bloody cucumber?
Sorry, it was a cucumber. It became bloody
I was like,
when he tried to remove it with a knife. There was...
Wait, how do you... Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't want to kink shame anyone, because honestly, like, I'm not
trying to kink shame anybody, but like, that's not like downstairs. Like, I got to think that like the healing down there isn't the easiest thing, because if there's like a cut or something down there, you're constantly getting it like bacteria with your poop.
Yeah, it's not like you can just slap a Band-Aid on it. One lady had a Campbell's
like
beef soup can
paper.
up her vagine.
A Campbell soup can?
Yeah, beef soup.
It had to be beef flavor.
Like beef soup. What does that even taste like? That sounds gross.
I mean, isn't it a thing to put like ping pong balls there and like shoot them?
Oh yeah, strippers like shoot them out at you like.
And then the question is like how many you could fit. But like, what if you lost count? Like, what if you forgot how many you put in there and then you don't know if they all came out? That's the problem.
You got to be able to feel it. I mean, I would assume. I mean,
I don't know. We read stories all the time about females who put like multiple tampons in there and they get lost.
Yeah.
And that isn't like toxic. You can get toxic shock from that.
You can get toxic shock from like one tampon. It doesn't need to be multiples.
Especially if you have a heavy flow.
I was just going to say something about that beef soup. Oh, that belongs in our foodies group, maybe.
The beef soup. I recommend beef soup. No, our foodies
From the
group.
can.
I'm sure some of those people in the foodies group are putting foreign objects in places that it should not belong. For sure.
I was reading about this one girl who was in Tennessee. I'm actually kind of stunned it wasn't Texas. But she was being arrested and booked into jail, and she put a gun and her driver's license up her wazoo for safekeeping. So she was booked into jail, and they charged her with introducing contraband into the penal facility. And then on top of it, the gun was stolen. So she ended up serving like a couple of extra years.
That's what I'm talking about, keystring. There was that video, that viral video. I think I sent it to you on TikTok. It was that viral video with the girl who's getting arrested and she's in the back of a police car. And the police officer is like, "You're going to jail." And she's like, why am I going to jail? That wasn't cocaine. He was like, "I saw the baggie." And she was like, "That's my coochie lips." Do you not remember that video I sent you? I send you a lot of TikToks.
Listen, I block a lot of stuff out with you because honestly, I would never sleep again.
But what was the funny, like she literally was sitting there going, "That's not cocaine. That's not a cocaine bag. That's my coochie lips."
Well,
because apparently she had like a short skirt with like no underwear.
Oh, in the beginning I didn't watch her TikToks.
This particular episode is definitely getting marked explicit material.
Oh, faux show. There also was
intended for children.
A guy who actually, I don't know if it was a guy or a gal. I can't remember, but they had an entire cutlery set inside of them.
Did they work for Cutco?
They swallowed 78 pieces of forks and spoons. That's called pica. Is I guess a disease where you crave weird, quote unquote, foods because silverware is not a food.
It's like those like TLC. What my strange addiction. Yeah. So the only episodes of my strange addiction that I remember is a lady who liked to eat the stuffing of a mattress.
Mm.
And the lady who liked to spray Lysol, and she liked to drink Lysol. So she would spray it directly into her mouth. Ugh. I don't understand that kind of stuff. Like, I know it's a disease, so I kind of like try to like relate to the fact that like, of course you can't understand it. It's a disease. Anybody like, I have anxiety. People don't understand what anxiety feels like if you don't have it. Right. But eating stuffing off of a mattress seems very specific.
Eating silverware. How do you even do that? I mean, it gives a whole.
I mean, I guess they have the sword swallowers at the circus.
Yeah, like
maybe
people
years
say,
of
hide
practice.
the silverware. Like strangers are coming.
You
over,
have to have
silverware.
No gag reflex onto that one. I'll tell you that one.
Yeah, maybe that person belongs at Fist Fest.
Just go like straight down. Straight down. I don't know. That just seems odd to me, and also it seems like it would be. I don't know. That would just puncture.
I read another one about this inmate, another guy who was being booked into jail. I think he turned himself in. It wasn't like he was arrested and just got like booked. I think he was actually going to serve time, and they found inside of him a condom containing the following: 17 oxycodone pills, 1 cigarette, 6 matches, 1 flint, an empty syringe with a pencil eraser over the needle tip, 1 lip balm container that was empty, 1 condom, I guess he needed a spare, 1 CVS receipt, and 1 coupon, and a partridge in a pear tree. Like, what on earth?
CVS coupon. That's probably the biggest thing in there.
I know, right? Those things are so long.
No, keystring. It's like, I mean, think about how many people get stopped at the TSA check at the airport. Like, I watch a lot of these random TV shows on YouTube, and one of the ones is the Heathrow Airport immigration. It's just like a TV show that like just talks about like the problems of immigration, particularly at the world's busiest airport, Heathrow, right?
Yeah.
And inevitably, every single episode, there's somebody who has something in their ass.
I actually got stopped at Heathrow, not for something in my ass, but because they thought I had a bomb on me.
Because it was in your ass?
No, I had some icy hot in my carry-on, and it wasn't in the baggie. It was like out of the baggie because I'd used some on the plane. But whatever is
like the patches or the cream? The
cream, and whatever's in it has something that sets off the alarm bells, and they think that it's a bomb.
When they because they swiped your bag or something, or was it a dog?
No, they swiped my bag, and of course we were like late for our connection, and then we lost our bags for like a couple days in Bologna, Italy. That was great.
And you didn't like that?
No, I didn't like it.
Icy hot in your anus would burn.
Yeah, well, the icy hot wasn't the reason why our
you were the cause of the delay.
No, I mean, we didn't have enough time to connect.
You were the cause of the delay. Well, every time I connect through Heathrow, it's a miserable experience because typically you get off, there's not a gate, you get onto a bus, then you're like going through immigration again. I mean, it takes hours. I don't think I've ever caught a flight with a connection, even if the connection's like 5 hours later.
Yeah, you need like 5 or 6 hours. Seriously.
I connected through Heathrow when I was going to Austria for a trade show. And I remember just like the nice thing about the Heathrow though is there's that airport hotel where you can like pay for just like a
day bed. Yeah.
That's literally what I did was just pay for a half day because I was exhausted at that point. Because you leave the day before from the US time.
Yeah.
And we digress. So what other anal cavities can we fill?
Someone had put some cement.
Some cement
up their butt, like as an enema, and then it hardened, which sounds
that's
painful.
A problem.
I saw pictures of someone else
forming like a mold. Could you form like a mold of your anus? Like, would you put like plaster of Paris in there?
Well, you probably would have to wrap it in some kind of barrier because I would imagine that would stick to your like insides.
But maybe you would have to like put a large condom and then pump in the plaster of Paris at a high pressure to like expand it.
It sounds like a multi-person operation. I'm not going to lie. But I bet they do that at Fist Fest. It all comes back to Fist Fest.
There is a Wanda Sykes segment. Sorry, I literally just saw this and this is funny. She was getting a colonoscopy and she talks about how she's laying on her side and she's passed out. And then she gets a tap on her shoulder. He's Wanda. And she's like, no, hi. And she goes, and the doctor goes, I just want to show you something right here. And she looks at the monitor and she looks at the doctor and she goes, is that a live feed? And she goes, no, you're not supposed to wake me up while you're still inside of me. And I just, that one whole thing, every time I think about it, because I'm just like, what would you, like, if you're having a colonoscopy, like, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I find it awkward when I'm at the dentist and they're talking to me because their hand's in my mouth, let alone if their hand's somewhere else.
Yeah. After my colonoscopy, they gave me like photographs.
But like, did they talk to you while you were there?
No, I was
like
completely
while they were inside.
Out.
Okay, so what if they woke you up and they were like, "Hey, we just wanted to show you something real quick."
I'd be mad because
did you know that there was an extra room here? You can increase your square footage.
You have an extra closet here. You can put your luggage in here.
Did you know you had an extra storage room back here? We just wanted to know. We just wanted to let you know. No, I would be mortified. And like, what do you like? First off, I'm mortified when they're even like, I don't even like when the doctor holds your nutsack and it makes you cough, let alone like anything.
I hate when the doctor holds my nutsack. It's terrible.
The doctor holds your nutsack and then makes you cough. Is there an equivalent? Can I ask a question? Is there an equivalent? Talking about foreign objects, so technically that's a foreign object. Actually, this is a good segue. You know, I was not prepared for this episode, but I have a segue.
Okay.
I'm curious, when you go to the gynecologist and they put you up in those like with the things that they put the horses in, what are they called?
Stirrups.
The stirrups. Okay, those aren't they horse related?
No, they're called stirrups.
Yeah, but horses have stirrups when you go ride them, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so technically this is the same thing. I'm not saying that they use the same equipment. I'm just saying it's named the same thing. All right, so your legs are up in the air, praying to Jesus, and then what do they do? Like, is it just like I just like think it's like is it like a cave explorer and he's like hello. Like, what's going on there?
Hello.
Because they like don't they part the sea?
They're like
But like, what are they like? Is it like one of those things, and then they crank, and it just like I'm genuinely curious right now. I'm not even kidding right now.
So my gynecologist, Dr. Wong, who is a lovely woman, and I have to tell you, she's the most on-time doctor of any doctor I've ever been to.
Do most females prefer a female gynecologist? Is that what something like?
I mean, I would think.
Well, you know, like Meredith's father or my friend Meredith's father is a gynecologist. He's a big gynecologist. Yeah.
He's a big gynecologist. He's a popular gynecologist.
No, it was like a running joke. We would always joke about. I was like, how many of your friends has your dad, seen?
Yeah.
Very popular.
That's interesting. But so you're in the stirrups, your legs akimbo, and then
And this is every 6 months?
once a year, unless you have an
year.
issue, I guess.
Just asking.
And they have this metal thing that kind of looks like a penis, but they use, I guess, their thumb to open it. So it spreads open your...
So like a curling iron with a wand?
Yes, very much like a curling iron.
Interesting.
Except it's not heated and it's not plugged into anything. And
you
then,
probably would prefer it be a little heated.
Yeah, because it is cold, that thing.
Exactly.
And Dr. Wong always says, okay, I'm touching here. Like she'll touch like your thigh, and then she
But does she say I'm touching her thigh, or just because it's kind of obvious when she's
she's like, I'm touching here, and then she'll touch like...
Oh, got it. So she's like, I'm going to touch the inner left thigh.
Yes. She didn't say like where she's touching, but like, you can figure it out.
I'm touching quadrant 9.
She then goes, okay, you're going to feel a little pressure. And then she puts a speculum in, and then she's like,
she cranks it open.
Hello.
And then when do the bats come out? What do they fly out immediately, or do they have to get coaxed out a little bit?
I think they're trying to light to get them out.
And then the question I have is, do they leave a piece of meat for bait for the teeth, or is just like it doesn't hit the hand, or like when do the teeth come into play?
Yeah, I think they'd like to shove like some mealworms or something to feed.
Now that would
the
actually
beast.
be funny. I'm actually thinking if they put a pair, like next time, I'm just being honest. Like, did you have a humor? Maybe next time bring a pair of dentures. Like, how hilarious would it be to get a photo with a pair of dentures like shoved in just temporarily?
So you'd have to shove in a camera first, then the dentures, because then you have to take a picture of the gynecologist's
No, I don't want to see it from
face.
the inside. Oh, from the inside, just looking at the face. I would just want to see it from the outside. I don't know. This is ridiculous. We've gone down a terrible rabbit hole.
So there was another guy who had a live eel up his butt.
That's the gerbil thing.
He thought it would help with
popular.
constipation. He was Asian, which I feel like they do have a lot of
just like
interesting
shake things up.
organic
It's like a
type
little like
cures.
blender on the inside.
And another guy had an eggplant. And
You're only
then
supposed to focus on the emojis.
another guy had a mobile phone, like a cell phone, which I wonder
Was
if he
he
just
going
like
to
lost
prison?
it.
Because that's if you. I don't know. I just like first off, there's no such thing as like getting something in there and not realizing that was in there. Like you didn't fall on something and accidentally like it just managed to hit your anus. Although there's those. Have you seen those chairs? Those like prankster chairs that you like sit on them and then they like it's the stools, like the stools that like rise up and down. Well, apparently, like sometimes when they rise up and down, the piston that causes it to go up and down can rip through the seat, right through your ass.
I'm never sitting on a stool again.
Right? Like the little metal, like the makeup ones that we have. No.
Yeah, no.
It's very scary.
Like that. Yeah.
So we have eels, gerbils, eggplants, shower heads,
cell phones,
cigarettes, and drugs.
Doll heads, which I couldn't figure out if they were swallowing them or putting them up like one by one, like
Do you
Barbie
think you
doll
get it
heads.
one way, you get the other way?
There was
whatever goes in is eventually going to have to come out, I guess.
Yeah, I would think.
I mean, most of these people who get something stuck, I'm going to ask, like, how do you get it out?
Well, there was someone who had like a dildo up there, and her boyfriend tried to use barbecue tongs to get it out. Didn't work.
By like going, because when you can tighten and this is an actual condition, right? It's the same thing with like the vagina. Like your ass can tighten, your anus can tighten because of stress or whatever, and then it will like it basically locks like a pit bull's teeth.
Yeah, like a pit bull's teeth, like
and just locks on it, just holds on for life. My whole thing is like I'm just thinking about like the anatomy of the body, and if something's stuck down there, do you cut through the stomach and like push it down? I don't know. When
like a little
stuck,
like muddler.
Think about it. If you're stuck in a fence, if you have your head stuck in a fence, or if you got your arm stuck somewhere, you don't like just pull. You push from the other, like you push from the other side, and you pull from one side. Right, so if you got something stuck in your anus, like does the doctor go the other way and just like try to like jab it out?
I don't think it works that way.
Well, how do they get it out then?
They must like cut it
Muscle
open.
relaxers, maybe.
Maybe.
Cut it open. How do you cut it open? There's like bones down there. Oh, the taint.
The taint.
They could probably, or the grundle. I don't know. There's like a male female version of this, I guess. I don't know. That area seems uncharted for me. What? You don't go exploring down there. I'm not the one putting eggplants down there.
Sure, you're not.
Tony sounds like it. What? Tony's got to have something in his archives.
Tony is like the sweetest person, and you make up all this stuff about him that he's like putting eggplants.
I think he's the sweetest person. Now, I don't have any archival history of him from his days in Newcastle, and my perception of Newcastle is based on some interesting data points that I've seen online.
Sure,
and also some of his previous romantic relations. Just, they seem to me to be the type of people who would shove a gerbil in their anus.
I don't know that I would say that about his previous romantic history. I mean, listen, I don't know all of them, but
he dated Susan Boyle, didn't he?
Susan Boyle, yes, I think so. Was she on X Factor?
From the American Idol.
Was she on American Idol?
No, you're right. It was X Factor or Britain's Got Talent. It was Britain's Got Talent. It was
whatever happened to her. Is she still around? I don't even know. Does she shove things up her anus?
The only reason I remember her name right now is because they were trying to make people feel old, because I guess that was like a long time ago.
Yeah. That guy with all those things in that condom, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, but he was smuggling something for I mean, it was clearly.
He only brought one cigarette. That seems like it wouldn't get him very far in jail.
Do you have to tie a string to the end of it? Like, how do you get it back out? I get shoving it in. I mean, isn't that the dangerous thing? Like where they like make people put cocaine in there, and then like sometimes those
people die.
Those balloons rupture, and then they essentially get like a massive overdose because it's going straight to your asshole.
Yeah, that's like the tampons.
Now the reason why they put the tampons there, and the reason why that all happens, is because I guess there's a lot of blood vessels there.
Oh yes, the anus has many nerve endings. I learned that on Dr. Ruth in like.
Did you Google that?
8th grade. No, but I will. I mean, my Google history is a buffet of weirdness.
Do you have to know the depth of your anus before you partake in some of this? Like, do you have to I don't know, do you have to put a ruler in there? Like
that's another thing you'd have to put up there.
I know, but I'd rather I'd probably put like a breadstick up and then just like mark it on the end and then take it out and then measure it. And the reason why I'd put a breadstick is because I feel like if the breadstick broke or something happened, it eventually would just dissolve because it's just bread.
Right.
That's my logic.
Maybe you'd get a yeast infection with that, though, you think?
With a breadstick? I mean, I guess it depends on what you put.
It's a yeast bread joke. It wasn't a good
get that.
I like the people that put these straight things up there when it's not a straight path, like knitting needles or carrots. It's like, it's not a straight tunnel. It's like, yeah.
Well, what shape do you think it is?
I mean, it's curved because it's like part of your, like going to your intestine.
Like curved upwards?
Oh, shit. Do I need to actually Google this?
I mean, I don't know what it looks like. I thought it went up straight for like a little bit.
Oh, yeah, but like if you're shoving a knitting needle up there, I mean.
Yeah, I'm thinking it looks like a piping bag. Like there's the end piece of the piping bag, and then it sort of starts going elsewhere. But I mean, how far are people going up there? Maybe they're just going up the little tip of the piping bag. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know your life.
So one of the pictures I saw was like an X-ray of, makeup mirrors, like in Heather's room at work, how the lights all around, those big bulbs. Yeah. There's one of those bulbs shoved up there. I'm
telling you, strippers, ping pong balls, soda bottles. Do you remember like the 2 liter, or is it the 2 liter soda bottles? Like that's a very thing. Like it's a show, I guess, that they do. And the light bulbs. And I think the light bulbs is because some weird thing, like you could try to turn them on. Is there some electrical current down there?
Not built in, I don't think. But shocking could be. People do shock themselves, like you could get some pleasure. I
mean, I guess you could put a battery up there first. That would hurt.
Yeah.
A little tingle.
And some wires.
A little tingle. I mean, you guys, females have multiple options. It's not just the back door. They have the front door as well. So many options.
I mean, you could pack for the weekend, really, if you needed to.
just storage.
Yeah. It's you run out of storage in your apartment, you just,
it's interesting, though, that you talk about that, because now that, now that the airplanes are charging for luggage, you could, like the whole thing is like if your luggage is full or too overweight, you just like start layering on clothing. Well, there's other areas that you could store things in.
Sure.
They can't say anything about how much you weigh.
I really picture going into the bathroom to do that. I'm picturing the old LaGuardia, but now the new LaGuardia is pretty nice. So maybe.
What are you doing in there? I'm trying to shove something up my anus.
I'm combining my carry-ons, sir.
I think that's the weird part, anyways. Too. Have you? I mean, have you ever gotten pat down by a TSA agent?
I've gotten pat down twice in the same day from the same TSA agent. Do
you find it exciting?
She looked like Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black.
What part of it do you like the best?
I don't like any of it. It's horrible.
I think it's funny. I can't stop laughing. It's not happened often, but it happened at St. Petersburg Airport or whatever airport that services St. Petersburg. I don't actually think it's called St. Petersburg.
In Florida or Russia?
In Florida. I don't think they're patting anybody down in Russia. In Florida. But when they slide your leg down, when they slide their arm down your leg and like, how they have to keep their palm flat, whatever it is, I just start laughing because like then they start doing they do the front part of it. And you just kind of want to be like, was that enjoyable for you as well?
Do you ever get the urge to just like grab them by the ears and just like face hump them?
Just like, I don't think that's allowed. Although I didn't realize that they're not really technically cops or anything like that. So they can't really do much to you. No,
they're just perverts.
They really can't do much to you. But
yeah. Why do you want to be a TSA agent? For the pat downs?
I don't want to be a TSA agent. I just want to see, I just think the pat downs are interesting.
Yeah,
I have to think that when they do a pat down, every so often they're going to come across somebody who's very well endowed, and it's going to make for an awkward situation because they're going to be like, "Is that a weapon?"
Imagine if they take. Well, that actually happened to Tony. He was going back.
They patted down his weapon.
Yeah.
Sir, are you packing what is that, a Magnum? What were they telling him?
They were like, "Take your pants down, sir," and it was like,
"No, they didn't." And just
he was going back to England. I think it was the first time he had visited here, maybe the second time.
And they thought he was smuggling a baby.
He had paid for his ticket with a debit card as opposed to a credit card. So that was a little sus. So I'm watching him being led into this back room. I was like,
that's where the magic happens. That's
called boom, should I leave? Should I stay? Should
you get some popcorn and meet you there later?
He got stripped down to his boxers and he was like, you know what? I'll just stay. I don't have to go back.
I'll just stay. But
he goes, if they had gotten out the rubber gloves and the KY, I would have just said I'm staying.
Does that classify under this topic as a foreign object if an agent has to go full rectum?
Yeah, that seems like a real violation, doesn't it? I mean, especially if you're not packing anything, right?
I mean, it depends on if they're going to finish the job. I mean, if you're going to start something,
required to.
If you're going to start something, you might as well finish.
If you're going to pat me down, you better give me a happy ending.
I think about that episode of Schitt's Creek where they were getting married, and then David's fiance, who he was going to marry later that day, gets him a massage, and then after they come back after the massage, and David's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you agreed to get me a happy ending," and the fiance's like, "I excuse me." He goes, "Yeah, the masseuse, he gave me a happy ending." He goes, "David, why would I hire somebody to give you a happy ending?" He goes, "I don't know, because I was stressed." And the fiance goes, "All I told him was to take very good care of you, and I left the money on the dresser." It's like, so with all this foreign object insertion,
yeah,
I'm curious, what will we be serving tonight?
Be making a stuffed squid.
Ooh.
Because I feel like the squid kind of looks like
it looks like the anus.
A rectum.
It could also look like
that
the
word
vagine.
Rectum, by the way. Rectum.
It looks like a rectum and it smells like a vagina.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why you chose it.
So stuffed squid, you stuff it basically with scallops and some breadcrumbs, or you could use shrimp also. The recipe tells you kind of what to do. I wouldn't overstuff your squid because
no, we don't want any exploding squids.
Yeah, it does. The stuffing does expand.
It does expand as it starts to absorb.
Yeah.
God help all of our more conservative listeners. I'm sure that there's some of our listeners are.
I mean, you've already offended them, probably.
If I haven't, it's bound to happen sooner than later.
Which one of our our friends do you think has inserted a foreign object into their basement cavities?
Oh, just because we know he's an avid listener. Tyler.
Oh, Tyler was number one on my list.
Tyler was number one. Sorry, Tyler.
Tyler, we love you, and we know you're adventurous, which is why we're
That's why we're thinking that you're stuffing squids up your anus cavity.
I don't think he stuffed squids up.
So it sounds like a delicious recipe. I actually think that stuffed squid, people might go, but stuffed squid is actually quite delicious. Especially, I love calamari steaks. Not like just calamari. Calamari steaks are just delicious. Everybody is like, oh, I don't like squid. I'm like, hey, y'all, everybody loves calamari. I haven't met people that don't like calamari. Some people don't like the texture of it, but other than that,
and a lot of people don't even know that it's actually squid. I don't know what they think it is, but
well, it sounds like a delicious meal, and it certainly sounds like. But here's the thing: we love to follow up these podcasts. So I feel like this is like what is that TV show? The one Unsolved Mysteries. If you have any information pertaining stuffed assholes, please contact us at dinneranddrama@gmail.com. Again, that email is dinneranddrama@gmail.com. That's our ending right now. But it's been a pleasure as always. And if you loved the talk of anus and vagina stuffing, please be sure to leave us a comment and follow us, or hit that subscribe button. Better yet. Yes, please tell us also what other things we should talk about, including stuffed vaginas. Yeah, what other sort of potluck topics we should What other random topics? Now, since I was surprised today, I have to surprise Kristin for the next one. That's the deal. The problem with that is that you have a lot more useless knowledge than I do. I have a ton of useless knowledge. It's literally my specialty. Yeah, you're an expert on useless knowledge. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you. Thanks you. Thanks for listening. Again, good night. This is Drew. And I'm Kristin. Bye.